Howdy y'all, Andy McCabe here, Claims Delegates, and the Claim Doctor from the Claim Clinic. Hey, I had a phone call just now with a friend of mine, and he asked me a question that was pretty good, and I felt like my answer was pretty good too, so I thought I'd share it with you. I hope this makes sense, and I don't ramble too much. His question was, he was just stepping out of an appraisal situation with a judge and a couple of appraisers, and he said, man, if everyone knew, if people understood how this industry really worked, would things be different? What would change, and would things make more sense? And I said, yeah, that's pretty much why I do what I do, because for a long time I lived in a world where I couldn't be completely 100% honest with everyone that I was dealing with on a daily basis. And I tell you what, I told him. I said, the problem with our industry is the level of cognitive dissonance that is rampant throughout. It doesn't matter which side of the equation you're on, the claims adjuster side or the contractor side or the homeowner side. Everyone has different motivations. And let me explain to you what cognitive dissonance is. Cognitive dissonance is what you experience when your current reality or current situation or what you do does not match what you believe. Okay, you have two different choices. You're in a situation where you know what you believe, and you know what you're doing is contrary to what you truly believe is right. Let's call it a moral compass or standards. You can either leave the situation, you can change the situation so it's more in line with what you believe, with what your moral compass is, or you can start to justify. So the justification of why you do what you do it eases the level of cognitive dissonance. It eases this tension that you have between your situation and your belief. This is the dissonance. So you rationalize it so it's less. It eases that tension. And I'll give you an example. As a project manager and estimator, I dealt with homeowners, my boss, and adjusters on any given day. And those three entities have very different motivations. Okay, I couldn't be 100% honest with the homeowner and tell them exactly how claims work from A to Z, because I risked pissing off the adjuster. Because if I give the homeowner too much ammunition, they're going to go to the adjuster and raise the claim up too high. And the adjuster's going to say, well, Andy, I don't like how you operate. I'm not going to send you any more work. And so I had to toe a line between honesty, fudging, and just plain not being 100% honest with somebody in that situation. And at the end of the day, I still had to bring these projects in profitably. Meaning, if an adjuster said, well, we don't pay for that. And by the way, that is another word for we don't want to pay for that, because I don't give a crap what you say you don't want to pay for. I'm going to go back to the policy and say, is this pre-loss? Was this here? You owe for this, but let's not go there today. If an adjuster told me, hey, we don't pay for that, but why don't you charge me for this over here, wink, wink, nod, nod, and we'll make up the difference, or maybe we'll make up the difference on the next job where you can charge me for, where I have a more. It's just complete dishonesty, because we're playing a shell game with money to make sure that my boss is happy with my profits, and the homeowner doesn't get too pissed off, but they're not made 100% whole, and so the adjuster doesn't get beat up from his boss because they have these rules, okay? And the adjusters have the same cognitive dissonance. If every adjuster went into a claim with all the tools they needed to settle the claim in a timely fashion, in a fair fashion, the insurance company wouldn't make as much money. So that's why they have these rules, these things that they don't pay for. Well, adjusters over the years, if they're going to last in this industry at all, they have to find a way to ease that cognitive dissonance themselves. So what does that look like? That turns into adjuster's looking at every claim like it's a us versus them, and every insured is out to rip people off, and they're out to rip us off, and I got to make sure they don't take advantage of the system. And you get a very combative personality that actually lasts. Or you get an alcoholic. I mean, let's look at me. I was so torn and twisted, I just wanted to drown it out. Why did we go to these golf tournaments and there's lines of liquor bottles on every hole of the golf tournament? Why do we drink? Because we're so torn. We're so, we're just like, this doesn't make any sense. But it's the world I live in. It's what puts food on my table for my family. So I've got to make a way to make it work, even though I don't like how it works. And I think that's everywhere. We all have room to improve. We all have room to look at this system that we're living and working in, and let's change it. What if it changed? That was my friend's follow-up question. What if it changed? And I said it would be great. It would be a completely different operating environment. But we can't do it as a lone operator. You get one guy screaming out there, this is wrong. Well, they're just the wacko, because that belief process would change. It would threaten the way I make a living. So I'm not going to go there. It's too risky. I'm just going to do what my company tells me to do. I'm going to go to work every day and follow the rules and make some money. What at the end of the day, we're making money. So how do you justify that? How do you justify not making somebody whole on their insurance claim because that's what the rules say? How do you justify adding in baseboard replacement in a room that you know full well you're not going to replace the baseboard? You're just going to slap the old stuff back on and put a new coat of paint on it because you need that profit margin to cover your loss somewhere else. How do you justify that? Well, I don't. I live in a different world now. I've decided to go outside of this. And as a claims consultant, I can finally, for the first time, just be 100% honest. And my cards are on the table. This is what it is. Let's look at it with a fresh set of eyes. And what are your intentions? And we can have a back and forth. And I like it that way. I prefer it that way. But for now, I'm in the minority. I don't know. Well, did that make any sense at all? I don't know. We'll see. Let's just put this out here and see what you all think. All right, take care.